Hey Brock, how are you?
Doing well, John. How are you?
I'm a little disappointed you didn't come back with an Irish accent.
Yeah, I don't think I was there for quite long enough. Although it was kind of funny. They were like, I kept seeing all these guys there. I was like, wow, we look the same. Like you're like
Uh
my
huh.
size. Like,
Bone structure,
yeah,
height, everything.
yeah. It
They
was
were
kind of
they were
funny.
probably McGoffs for all you know.
Yeah, I mean, like my name, like I fit right in there. So it's the motherland.
Yes, it is. So you were there for a wedding. It was a full week.
Yeah, a week exactly for a wedding. Did a little bit of sightseeing, but really mostly it was just wedding stuff.
Yeah, you took a cold swim.
Took a cold swim in the at Sandy Cove, in the 40 foot they call it, which they told us it was like an Irish tradition on wedding day. I don't think it was. It was really cold, and but then there were like a bunch of like middle aged Irish ladies swimming around. So Irish people are hardcore.
Yes, yes, we are.
Yeah.
It's in our bones.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I'm 50 because I have the Shanahan side, but then my mom's side, they came over as the O'Heenans. They dropped the O because of racism against Irish people at that era, and so like I'm 75 Irish and 25 Swiss.
Interesting.
Yeah,
How'd that Swiss get in
super
there?
super white.
Yeah.
My grandmother on my dad's side, which is why it feels so right when I was going to Zurich. I was like, this feels right. It felt more right when I went to Ireland though.
Yeah. Yeah. It was weird. Like I'd never been to I've been to London a couple times just going through there, but I've never been to that really spent any time in that part of the world. And yeah, it felt oddly familiar, but also strange. Like Dublin was just it's just different than the U.S. in like really weird ways. Like they don't eat very much over there. They just drink Guinness. That's all they
Hmm.
do is just drink at the pub. But like there's you go into a pub and like there's just no menu, or like it's 8 p.m. like the kitchen's closed and like no one cares. They just like subsist off like Guinness and cigarettes.
Everything shuts down except for the pubs around like around like 6 or 7.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So you enjoyed your time over on the motherland.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. I'd love to go back and just go to like the West Coast and see some of the sites and just spend some time out in the country and get out of the city a little bit. But yeah, it was very cool.
You look good for the wedding too. Indochino came through.
Yeah, they did. It's funny. We were just recording an episode with Greg Smith from Chalkmark Style and talking about the options, how many options there are these days. But when it comes to suiting up a bunch of people for a groom's party who live in different cities and want to get measured in person, there really is only a couple of options, and Indochino is the most obvious one. So we ended up going with Indochino, and everybody looked good. Like no, they didn't like nail it 100% for everybody, but everybody looked pretty good. After some basic alterations, my suit was like very, very good. So got to give credit where credit's due to Indochino.
Yeah. I think it's definitely like wedding planning season because I've gotten more than usual DMs asking about like wedding, either like budget friendly wedding suits or like what should I do for these groomsmen. And actually, a very exclusive sneak peek for the Bud Up podcast listeners is a company that I used to be subscribed to dress shirts for, Hall Madden. They have this like bespoke high end suiting option, but the guys are starting a more entry level thing and they're kind of combining like take the best stuff of suit supply and the best of articles of style. So they're going to do entry level suits around $500, but you order based on your height and weight, and then they send you 3 fitting garments in the mail. You try them on, send the pictures, and then you send those back, and then they send you the final suit like made based on those measurements, and it's all like Italian wools and made in Italy, but it hits that $500 like suit supply price point. And then you also say like I want a gray suit, they'll send you some swatches as part of the try on, and then you can pick from there. And so they're like in the process of launching it, and I'm trying it out now. That was the picture I put up yesterday. It's just like I have like all these suits right here right now, but I'm pretty impressed so far. Like if they come through and it's a nice suit for $500, the fitting process is the like what I really liked about Articles of Style, but also Articles of Style like I just have a basting garment sitting in my basement. Like it feels wasteful, and I can't get rid of that
Yeah,
in a way. So it is nice that you're sending it back, and it's going to be reused for somebody else.
yeah,
And so it could be a good it could be a good option for most guys.
yeah. I like it. I love the fact that they're trying to improve on that process because I feel like Articles of Style and I guess Chalkmark Style too is kind of as far as people have pushed it in terms of like bridging the gap between online self-measured custom and true in-person, old school bespoke. So, if they can improve that process, I mean, Articles of Style, like you had a great experience with them, and it seems like they have a lot of happy customers. But if they can even just tweak that and get it 5% closer, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, and it's not nearly the prices of Articles of Style. It's like you're not really getting into something from them for less than $1,200 to $1,400
Right.
because they use very nice fabrics. It's like that wool and silk that I have from them is still my favorite suit.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was just like cleaning out my closet. I'm doing like just like a wardrobe like refresh, and I have all of these made to measure suits, and all of them have something wrong. Like they're not perfect. Like there's like a collar gap, or like just like the sleeve pitch is wrong, and it sucks because I don't want to. You can't really sell them because they're custom. I don't really want to just give them to Goodwill, but I have to do something. So I'm giving them to like a Career Gear or something like that. But I'm basically getting rid of like 80% of my suits and just keeping like my best fitting blue and best fitting gray.
That was a conversation I just had with Justin Jeffers. I was out in San Francisco, and like he has two huge wardrobes of suits. And he's like, yeah, when I was doing the blog, I was getting a bunch of suits. And he also has all these like he has a couple like vintage Ralph Lauren and like some like nice stuff. And he's like, yeah, in San Francisco you don't wear it. And it's like for him too. He's like, it's like sad that they're all sitting there. He also has a ton of dress shirts. I just had a forced purge in my closet because of all this lifting. Like I have some of the shirts that used to be my best fitting shirts. I can't button in the chest anymore.
That's awesome.
It's I had my brother come over and I was like, try this on. It fits him like a glove. Like he's built the way that I was 5 years ago when I was buying those shirts. Mm-hmm. So he made out like a bandit with like probably 25 dress shirts and then 6 or 7 pairs of bonobos pants because my thighs can't fit in them anymore.
Wow.
And like my butt has gotten bigger. And so I have to size up in most of my pants now. So I've had a forced purge. Luckily, I'm not going to have a problem replacing a lot of it.
Yeah, yeah, that is the good thing. So how much weight have you gained?
24 pounds since we were in LA.
Wow, that's crazy.
So basically started working out right when we got back from LA, and 24 pounds. So I'm at 190. I'm usually around 194, and when I was out in LA, it was like 170 was pretty much my average.
Nice. And have you seen equal growth in upper and lower body?
No, I feel like it's mostly leg.
Because you already had kind of like big legs for your build, like not like you didn't have like skinny legs.
Right. So I'm trying to like get a little bit more. I'm trying to bring it up a little bit.
Yeah, man, I have the exact
but I definitely
opposite
feel
problem.
in my back and chest.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know. You grow a lot in the top, but not as much in the bottom.
Yeah. I need the bigger legs. Although I'm also feeling in the hips. Like that's probably the thing that I've noticed most about my pants and shorts is like tight around the hips, but not tighter around the waist. So then you get that like waist gap,
Mm-hmm. Man, just got to go all custom. That's the problem.
I know. Well, that's what when we were talking to Greg. Like I want custom to move more in the casual direction. Like I want custom T-shirts and polos, custom chinos. Like that's what people are wearing these days. Not you only need 2 suits for most guys, and maybe like a really nice casual sport coat, like an unstructured like navy blazer sport coat. But yeah, to get custom casual wear would be awesome.
I've ordered 2 custom polos from Lignetti, and both of them came with like weird, like the shoulders were kind of jacked up. And so I am trying a couple of custom companies out. Maybe I'll try Hawkerty again because they have some like $39 polos. But a lot of these companies do offer them now. Like Black Lapel has casual wear, and I can't remember who I was just looking at. Luxair, Taylor Store. Like a lot of them have like chinos and that sort of stuff. Or like Woody's. I'm wearing Woody's pants right now. These are some of the only stuff that'll fit my waist and my thighs. Mm-hmm. My beloved bonobo stuff might not fly anymore.
Sucks. Have you tried Son of a Tailor t-shirts?
I keep getting ads for them, and I feel like I need to order some.
Yeah, I always get, every time I talk about t-shirts, I get people saying, try Son of a Tailor, which I tried them when they first launched, and it was like, it didn't work out at all. Like, I tried twice, I think, and both had like weird problems. But maybe they've probably improved a lot since then, so they might be worth another shot.
Well, it seems like your Asket stuff worked out too when you did your second go-around with them.
Yeah, the Asket, for the second go-around, their short sizes were actually like almost too short, which was, that's good because if you're like 5'3" or 5'4" or shorter, like they'll probably fit you. It's probably one of the only options that'll fit you perfectly besides like Peter Manning. but yeah, their stuff is good. I wish they had for their tops now like different cuts too. So like slim fit short or kind of like a hue and cry, you know?
Right. I mean, that's what Son of a Tailor is probably trying to solve. I don't have any custom T-shirts. That is a good idea to try them out.
Yeah.
I usually can get by with a small. If I wear a small, that usually gives me good shoulder, good sleeve, good torso length. Like this is Outlier. This is one of the Outlier wool shirts.
Ooh, I love those wool outlier shirts.
People hate on Outlier on Reddit because it's expensive, but it's like there's a reason it's expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, I have one of their like it's like a run weight wool t-shirt. I don't know if that's the one you're wearing, like the lightweight.
No, I think this is the midweight.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I've had it for I hemmed it because it was too long, but then I've had it for years now, and like
Yeah.
I can bring it on a trip, and I work out in it like every other day over like the course of like a week or 10 days. Never wash it, and it's just fine.
Wool shirts last forever. I have a Mack Weldon shirt. They don't make them anymore, but I have one from I think I bought it 3 years ago, and it's like this red, very lightweight. It's probably a very similar weight to the one you have, and it's definitely one of my favorite shirts. Like I just packed my bag for the hospital because we're about a month out from the baby, and I put that shirt in there. It's like got that in there, and I got some wool socks. Like that's my hospital gear. I don't know that it'll make a great video. What to pack? I guess maybe it would. What to pack in a go bag for the hospital for dads.
Oh, that'd be a great. I mean, that's like super niche, but that'd be a great video.
Yeah. Won't get a lot of views, but the people will appreciate it that watch it.
Yeah. So what was want to tell us about your journeys, your recent journeys to the West Coast?
Oh yeah, well I wanted to do San Francisco and LA, but stuff fell through in LA, so I just did San Francisco. I covered the entire city by electric moped over 3 days. I did like the app said I did 25 miles in 3 days on the electric moped, and for like a New York sized city, that's some good distance.
Yeah.
There to do the electric moped, you have to do a 20-minute orientation in the app of like rules and like get the helmets and all that stuff. And the one thing in the orientation says don't go on the highways. And there was a point where I was riding and I was like, I was following Google Maps and I was like, wait a minute, my next, like if I go across the street, I'm going to be on the highway. And so I was like looking around panicking and I ended up on the 101 on an electric moped. Like it was, I lived to tell the tale, but it was pretty dicey.
Yeah.
I had great restaurant recommendations from people. It was a lot like my New York trip, where it was like I was somewhere for breakfast, somewhere for lunch, somewhere for dinner, meeting with different people. The meetup we did in partnership with Stitch Fix, so they brought everybody out, and actually everybody who showed up to the meetup got a $100 Stitch Fix gift card.
Wow.
Which was very generous of them.
Yeah.
And then covered the tab, and so we had Carlos Roberto came out, and Justin Jeffers, and Kyle Ingham. And I just don't know that many guys in San Francisco, but it's kind of like this. It's like you kind of think you know everybody until you realize there's somebody else that has 100,000 followers that's, in this space. So yeah, that was my last trip before the baby. Now I'm home for the summer, and I would love. I'm hoping stuff comes together for the fall in LA because it's always it's a good time when you can get out there. So right now my first trip post baby is going to be New York the last week of August. We're doing a meetup with Christian from Theo and Harris and Anna, and so that's going to be right now. We're looking at August 29th if all goes well.
Nice. Very cool. Yeah, I'll be in LA August, I think second week of August, for just with Becca, and then what else? Probably New York in I'll say late August or early September, and
You should be there on the 29th.
maybe I'll try. I'll try to be there on the 29th.
Yeah. So we'll see. At this point, we're having a lot of contractions, so the baby might be early. Well, I don't know.
Have they been early in the past?
No, my son was 2 weeks late. My daughter was about a week late, but the third one, they always say it's like, just get in the hospital as soon as you can. So
Wow, 2 weeks late.
we'll see. Yeah, he was due on my birthday, which is the 26th, and he wasn't here till the 10th. So he took his sweet time.
Nice.
We like our children fully baked
Yeah, apparently.
and big. I mean, he was 9 pounds 10 ounces. He was a big boy,
Wow.
and now he's tall like me. He's built exactly like me.
Interesting. So you guys are just pros at this point. Like, is it just like not a big deal? Like, yeah, I'll just go to the hospital. Like, got the go bag ready.
Yeah, pop him out, bring him home. We like this past weekend. We spent the whole weekend pulling down infant clothes from the attic and packing the bag, and like basically we're ready now. When my son was coming, we had everything done. Like the nursery was done and the clothes were organized. When my daughter came, like we barely had the crib set up, and we was like, it's fine. Like just put them anywhere. But with this one, we had to move them into bunk beds. We did that like months ago to get them used to it, and now they're really excited. They're like, oh, we're so excited for the baby, and like they say goodnight to the baby every night, and they like kiss her belly, and that they know that that's the new baby's room, and that now it's their room. So they are as prepared as they can be, but I don't think they have any idea what they're in for.
Yeah. Nice.
And actually, the very last step is we get a new car seat that comes in today in the mail. So put that in the car, ready to roll.
Nice.
The nice thing about the third one is like we have everything. We have every pair of clothes we can need. We have the car seats, the strollers. Like people say that kids are expensive. One kid is expensive. Two is like marginal cost. And then from there, you just keep throwing them. Just keep throwing them back of the car.
Yeah. Nice. Well, because it seems like that stuff changes. Like, every year there's like a better stroller, like a better car seat or something. But
yeah, and there are rules about that. Like you shouldn't use a car seat for more than 10 years is like the max. But you also shouldn't buy them used because they do change so much, which is why like we had one car seat that was for both of them, but we just got a new one because ours is like they recall that stuff all the time. And so that's why you also have to do it quickly. You can't have like 5 kids in 15 years because then you will end up buying a bunch of stuff repeatedly.
Yeah.
Basically, here's all the reason of justifying having so many kids so quickly.
Yeah. That makes sense. If you're going to do it, just knock it out.
Yeah. And that's what my wife has always said, like, she wants to be done having kids at 30. And so it's like, we're good.
Nice. Cool. Yeah, I never understood why people like, because you can just go nuts with the baby clothes and the toddler clothes, but it's like, they're going to outgrow them in like a week, like just get them used or just, hand-me-downs or like do what you got to do. But it seems crazy to buy a bunch of new clothes for every kid.
Yes, I agree. Which is why, like, as we put the clothes away, we're always like paring down what isn't good anymore and that sort of stuff. Right. But then that's also why, like, we'll go to Hannah Anderson now, which is like, which is a nicer clothing brand because those clothes last really well over washes. It's like if this is going to be on the backs of 3 or 4 kids, just buy the nicer stuff now. So I've taken my entire philosophy around menswear and just applied it to the kids too.
Nice.
Like all the pajamas that my son wore, I shouldn't say all of them. So I would say half of it, a lot of stuff that was either like given to us or we bought at Target, like that stuff's all gone. And the only stuff that we still have left is the stuff we bought at Hannah Anderson or like Janie and Jack, some of the higher end brands. And all that stuff is just as good as it was then. Or like Andy Dunn's sister has a brand, Monica and Andy, for baby clothes, which is like this luxurious, like all organic cotton, blah, blah, very nice. And that stuff lasts really well through pregnancies too. So
a bunch of tiny Cavaliers running around the house.
Yes. My son wears a lot of Untuck It because Untuck It makes like really nice boy stuff.
Really?
Like their t-shirts, they have these polos, like these PK polos are really nice. Yeah, he wears a lot of Untuck It. And he's shorts. He's a bunch of shorts from them too.
Wow, cool.
Yeah. So that's all the action happening now. So basically the next couple of weeks is like the only thing I really need to do right now is finish the series of Alan Emmons videos that I shot that I'm really good at procrastinating. And it was like I sent you a screenshot. I booked all these podcast guests the day I was supposed to work on it because I was like procrastinating it. So I'll eventually get those done. And then I also signed a multi-video deal with a luxury watch. They're not a brand. They're really interesting. So we got time. We're only at like 19 minutes here. So what they do, and I'll probably gonna explain this in one of the videos, is so like if you go to your local AD for a Rolex or for Omega or whatever brand, those ADs are not contractually allowed to sell their watches online. They can't list their inventory online. They just can't do it. So they go to Joma Shop and they sell it for cheap, and that's how the gray market created. This company is Trovery. They are a authorized dealer for all the Swatch brands, so Omega, Breguet. They have Tag Heuer, Nomos, like luxury brands, basically the nice ones except for Rolex.
Right, I'm familiar with them. Yeah, because I noticed that was the one they didn't have.
Yeah, and they are partnered with ADs. So like in Pittsburgh, Orr's Jewelers is like the big AD around here, and they drop ship from their inventory. So you shop Trovery, they are the e-commerce interface, but they are allowed to sell these watches, and then they ship from the local ADs. So it's a way to buy luxury watches online with like from an authorized dealer with full factory warranties, customer service, and all that stuff. But you're still like supporting the ADs in a way, and so it's like an interesting hack almost to the contracts. But yeah, they don't. The only one they don't have right now is Rolex, because Rolex is Rolex.
Yeah. So what are you going to be doing reviews?
Yeah, so like it's my first opportunity that I'll get to have my hands on some of these like nice watches I've always wanted to do. So I'm going to do like a review. I'm trying to figure out what comparison I want to do. Like I want to do whether it's like a Speedmaster and a Daytona, or I kind of want to do like a Nomos, and whether it's a Rolex or something else, is like talking about this really cool entry level luxury brand. It's kind of stuff like that. All the watch content that I've wanted to do but haven't had the either access, the time, that sort of stuff with them, and so I'm excited about that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've been wanting to. Actually, I think they emailed me. I've been in touch with like Crown and Caliber and Bob's Watches and these brands. I want to establish some relationships where I can do reviews on loan and stuff. But the problem I have is there's so many great review channels out there, and guys that know way more about watches than I do and are probably more passionate. And so I'm like, what can I do with these watches? Because yeah, it'd be awesome to get my hands on them and kind of talk about them from like a non-technical perspective. Like here's how I would wear this watch. But I got to figure out some sort of series idea, and then also like what's the relationship with you and the brand? Like, are you an affiliate? Are they sponsoring these videos? So just got to figure out those details.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to do something on Breitling, but then Breitling will not allow marketing of their stuff without like full approval, and so even though they're like there's all these approvals for them to sell it, they went to the brand. The brand said they only do ambassadors. They don't do influencers or bloggers. And it was like, okay, whatever you want.
I gotta say, out of all the like luxury brands, like that is one brand that has never done it for me. And I went to their boutique a couple times ago when I was in New York and tried out a bunch of stuff. And the guy there was trying to sell me on the size. I'm like, dude, these watches are just so oversized. And I get why they are. They have a lot of information on the dial, most of them, but they're just way too big for like the vast majority of guys.
Yeah, and a lot of them, they are extremely technical, like the aviation watches. I like some of like there's a vintage Navitimer, which is like a 38 millimeter, like before they went too big, and it's a little bit cleaner than some of like the really busy dials. But yeah, it's definitely like a very specific tool watch for a certain type of person. And because I'll notice them too. Like I've noticed a couple of them because you can notice the B logo. It's kind of like a Bentley. It's like you're like,
all right,
I see the wings, I see the B. And it's always like, it's usually somebody that looks like they're from the military.
Yeah. Like a Ryan Masters has a Breitling, and it's perfect for him. That's like the perfect, like match between brand and guy. But I did see, dude. Sure. I keep thinking I'm done with watch collecting, but I almost sent you this one. Luckily, it sold really fast, so I couldn't buy it. But it was an old Quartz Grand Seiko champagne dial, 33 millimeters on Reddit Watch Exchange, and it was like $400 or something. It's like not bad, but I was like, ooh, that's like 33 millimeters and like Grand Seiko, but it's a quartz, so it's cool if you don't wear it very often. But no, I didn't do it.
Oh, my vintage Omega stopped ticking.
Ooh.
I can hear it winding, like it'll wind, and the bumper movement will go, but the seconds hand won't move. So I emailed Christian about a service on that one. Yeah, Grand Seiko. You have a love of Grand Seiko.
I love them.
You're gonna end up with a Grand Seiko.
Definitely. They have some smaller ones too. So, yeah.
It's either gonna be a Grand Seiko or an Explorer.
Oh man,
you'd go for the Grand Seiko first because you want variation.
Yeah, that's true. I'd have to part with one of the Rolexes if I was gonna do the 36 Explorer.
What a problem young Brock never thought he would have.
I know, man. But it is funny, like, you go through phases where like I took the Datejust on this trip and I wore it the whole time. So I was like, well, it's not the most casual watch, but I'm going to be in a wedding and like I want like a dressy watch to wear the suit. And it was really nice like having that in Ireland. And then I got home and took it off and I put on the OP date and I was like, oh man, like I've missed this, like it just feels good to wear it after not having it on for a while.
Isn't it interesting though? Like when I think of my Ireland trip, I think of my Seamaster so much because that was the first. I bought it like the 2 weeks before we left, and like every picture I'm wearing it, and like I so associate that watch with that trip in a big way, and like I've worn it for tons of other things since then,
Yep.
but like when I think of that trip, I think like I can remember how excited I was to like wear that watch, and I mean if I was going to a not great place, like I didn't take any nice watches to Marrakesh just because of very different like context, but yeah, the way you associate, it's kind of like scent. It's like you associate scent with certain things. It's like, the watch has all these memories built into it.
Totally, yeah, yeah. Like if you bring like one watch and like one fragrance with you on a trip, both of those will always be in your mind, kind of cemented with that trip.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
We have some really cool guests booked. I think we say that all the time, but like this is the first time we have a lot of good stuff coming up. So we also have to record a lot before the baby because I'm probably going to take a nice paternity leave. I'll probably go quiet on my channel for like at least a month. I'm thinking.
Nice. Yeah, you should, man. That's like a big
Yeah.
perk of being self-employed is you can do that.
I never really did it. Like when my son was born, I think I stayed home for like 10 days. My daughter was born not long either. And so this might be the first one that I like just relax for a while. And my wife will need it. I'll have to be full-time dad for a while to let her recover.
Nice.
I'm into that.
Do you have like a runway of videos done?
I did actually when I left for San Francisco. I had 2 full weeks done and like edited, and now I'm pretty much. I'll finish that up this week. I have 5 Alan Emmons videos that I should be finishing up here soon, and then I'll probably just go quiet. I've been wanting to take a break for a while. Like my plan was to take a break in January to like work on my calendar and everything, and then I was like, all right, take a break in February, and like I just never have gotten there. So this might be the time that I finally force myself to just slow it down.
Yeah. Yeah, you should, man. I think that'll be good. Good for you and the channel.
Yeah, I did record an 80K Q&A already, so I'm waiting to cross that and I can post that.
Nice.
Yeah, brought the wife back before the baby.
Nice. Very cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, great to catch up. That's our June episode. We'll catch up maybe right before the baby, and safe travels to LA in August, and then we get some other cool stuff coming up.
Sounds good. Exciting times.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
Thank you for listening to the Buttoned Up Podcast, a collaboration between John Shanahan of The Cavalier and Brock McGough of Modest Man, and we will see you next week.